Anna stood alone in the chaos of the room, surrounded by heaps of discarded stuffed bears like forgotten corpses. Her fists clenched so tightly her knuckles turned white. Failure was a familiar taste. But tonight, something felt different. A strange shimmer caught her eye, a flicker of light glinting from within the pile of toys. Narrowing her gaze, she realized it was coming from a bear's eyes. A chill crawled down her spine. Instinctively, she turned toward the window and met another pair of eyes. The neighbor boy, standing outside in the dim light, his gaze soft, glistening, and eerily fixed on her through the narrow window slit. Anna froze. For a moment, a nameless fear pressed tightly against her chest. Anna stood alone in the chaos of the room, surrounded by heaps of discarded stuffed bears like forgotten corpses. Her fists clenched so tightly her knuckles turned white. Failure was a familiar taste, but tonight, something felt different. A strange shimmer caught her eye, a flicker of light glinting from within the pile of toys. Narrowing her gaze, she realized it was coming from a bear's eyes. A chill crawled down her spine. Instinctively, she turned toward the window and met another pair of eyes. The neighbor boy, standing outside in the dim light, his gaze soft, glistening, and eerily fixed on her through the narrow window slit. Anna froze. For a moment, a nameless fear pressed tightly against her chest. The boy's eyes shimmered, warm, tender, but hidden deep within was something strange and undefinable. Anna clutched Babythree tighter, her fingers trembling violently. This was the gaze she had searched for all this time, not in a lifeless toy, but in a living being. Those eyes, beautiful, pure, were the very dream she could never forget. She watched the boy play innocently with the Babythrees outside, heard his voice drift in with a smile. "The eyes on these aren't pretty. I like yours better." Anna couldn't breathe. In that moment, a terrible seed was planted. In the dim, dust-choked room, Anna threw herself into frantic sketching. Sheets of paper piled up across the floor, on the walls, even on the crooked bed, everywhere, endless drawings of eyes. Yet none could capture the life, the soul she had seen. They all lacked something irreplaceable that only the boy's gaze possessed. She crushed the pages in her ink-stained hands, despair dripping from her fingers. "Those eyes," she whispered to herself, "couldn't be simply drawn. They had to be created, and to create perfection, she needed more than these hollow imitations." Anna's stare shifted to the small knife on the table. A glint of cold resolution flashed in her eyes. A twisted, broken smile crept onto Anna's lips. In her hand, the small knife glinted under the weak lamplight. Her eyes now, no longer those of a sane woman, gleamed with obsession, with no path back. Babythree, the poor, stuffed bear, lay limp at her feet. Anna knelt down, her trembling hands surprisingly steady with purpose, and gently, meticulously, extracted the glass eyes from its soft, stitched face. "Not beautiful enough," she murmured. "I need real eyes, perfect eyes." The door creaked open. The neighbor boy stepped inside, laughing carelessly as he picked up the discarded Babythrees and played with them. He had no idea of the nightmare brewing within these walls. Anna stood silently, watching. Every peal of his laughter tore at her mind like claws. When the boy picked up a new Babythree, frowned, and tossed it away in disappointment, something inside Anna shattered. She bent down, her fingers closing around the knife. Her eyes now held no hesitation, only the raging, maddening hunger that had been waiting to be unleashed. The faint light from the window illuminated Anna's face, casting an eerie glow over her eyes now burning with manic intensity. In her mind, there was only one image, the boy's perfect, shimmering gaze. But those beautiful eyes also carried a terrible fear, a hidden abyss waiting to swallow her whole. Anna raised the knife, her fingers gripping it so tightly they turned white, the cold glint of the blade catching the pale light. In the dying light of late afternoon, Anna stared at Babythree. The new eyes, so strangely beautiful, now adorned its stitched face, but they were hollow, unfocused, soulless. Anna knew, in just one more week, these eyes would fade too, like all the others before them. And when that happened, her hunger would return, fiercer than ever. There was no end to this search, only obsession and eternal, gnawing hunger. In the misty, secluded town, a place with many disappearances, the police announced they were close to finding the culprit. Jack, a culinary expert, arrived because of the reviews. Dozens of them all said the same thing. The best hot dogs in town and unforgettable. No photos, no address, just the name of the place. Jack stepped inside. The air smelled of grease and old spices. Behind the counter, a man stepped out of the shadows. A sausage still steaming, smoke swirling in small rings, as if just taken out of the oven. He took a bite. The sausage's casing cracked, revealing a soft, moist interior that tasted like meat, but richer. Jack paused and continued eating, devouring it. Jack asked about the sausages. The old man did not answer at once, but let out a dry laugh. Then a sound came from somewhere below. Sharp and cold, like the sound of metal scraping across a floor. Jack looked around the wall. A picture frame stopped him. A man holding a scalpel, standing in the middle with his face smeared. Behind the counter, the meat grinder began to move slowly, the clacking sounds echoing abnormally, as if something inside was pushing against the blade. Jack found an old notebook behind the counter, filled with handwritten recipes. One page read, "Human blood and spine," for tonight, as a screeching sound came from the basement. The basement door was closed, but a red light was still visible below. Jack reached for the handle, his hand shaking. Jack stepped through the wooden crates, marked Mia, Julie, lined up along the damp floor. One crate shook slightly, very slightly, but enough to make him hold his breath. As Jack tried to run, the meat hanger fell from the ceiling like an iron claw. A slash across his cheek, and the blood under his skin began to boil. Jack smelled the sausage stronger, not from anywhere else but from his own body. Jack clawed at his stomach until it bled, then collapsed as a voice from within his chest said that part of him was ready to be. He opened the industrial freezer. Inside was a severed hand with a wedding ring and a slab of meat shaped like a torso. The light flickered as cold mist rolled out, mixing with the blood dripping onto the floor. He staggered back and knocked over a tin can. The can burst open, spilling sausages and human fingernails. The old man appeared behind him and injected a needle into his neck. Jack collapsed in a pool of blood, his vision blurring with the clang of metal. Jack woke up naked in a cold room filled with hanging corpses. His chest pulsed unnaturally, and one eye turned yellow like a blood-soaked coin. He was chosen the moment he tasted it. The old man was gone. Jack stood behind the counter in a clean apron, calmly serving the first customer of the day. A newspaper on the table read, "Famous butcher shop owner mysteriously disappears. Butcher shop inherited by son. Tradition always finds a new face." The radio in the diner still plays, only one portion every weekend for the worthy. The secret stays fresh because no one survives long enough to tell it.